Today, we're diving into two powerful and frankly conflicting views of India. On one hand, you have this ancient ideal of a perfectly just society, and on the other, a really sharp modern critique that says true freedom is just an illusion. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, we've got to talk about this core concept, Dharma. Now, this isn't just about religion. Think of it more like the fundamental rule book for a just society. It's the moral and ethical glue that's supposed to hold everything together, from how you live your own life to how an entire nation should function. But what happens when that foundation starts to crack? And this question right here is the real heart of what we're digging into today. Our sources are asking something pretty provocative. Does that ancient noble ideal actually match the reality on the ground today? So before we get to the critique, let's be clear on what the blueprint was supposed to be. In ancient political thought, a society built on Dharma is one where the leaders are absolutely bound by a moral duty to serve the people. The whole point is to ensure justice and harmony for everyone. And look, this isn't some vague, fuzzy idea. It's a specific game plan. Texts like the Mahabharata lay out this framework called Raj Dharma, which is basically the ruler's job description. And the number one rule, power is not your right. It's a sacred trust. Your entire job is the well-being of the people, period. So think about that. Your legitimacy as a leader isn't something you're born with or something you can just seize. You have to earn it. This quote really nails it. The ruler is, at their core, a public servant, and that duty is the very thing that's supposed to prevent any abuse of power. Okay, so keep that ideal in your mind. Now we're going to flip the coin completely, because the source material we're looking at paints a very, very different picture, arguing that this ideal hasn't just been lost, it's been replaced by a sophisticated modern system of control. And this quote from the YouTube channel Smark just stops you in your tracks. The claim is that freedom in modern India isn't real, it's a delusion. The argument is that citizens have been effectively hypnotized by systems designed to conquer their free will. So, how does this so-called hypnosis work? This critique points to four main pillars. First, religion is used as a business and a political tool. Then you have media that's built to distract you with fear and celebrity nonsense instead of real issues. Third, the worship of false idols, celebrities pushing questionable products. And finally, an education system where money and connections can matter more than actual ability. And when you put all that together, what's the result? Well, the argument is that you get a society that's become numb, so overloaded with noise that we literally scroll right past images of real suffering, but we'll stop everything for some silly viral video. It's a pretty harsh look at our collective priorities. All right, so that's the big picture theory. But to really understand how this system of control allegedly works in practice, our sources tell us to zoom in on one very specific and very critical area, the healthcare system. And let me tell you, the stakes here are just staggering. According to World Bank data cited in our sources, 44% of children under 5 in India are underweight. 44%. When you have that kind of vulnerability baked into the population, it creates a deep, deep reliance on the very healthcare system that's about to be put under the microscope. The sources describe a model that creates what they call manufactured dependency. Here's how it supposedly works. First, medical knowledge is kept exclusive, so you have no choice but to depend on the experts. Then it can become a commercial business where profit might take priority. Next, decisions are often made for you without your truly informed consent. And finally, even doctors can get trapped, forced to follow rigid protocols over their own best judgment. And this slide, wow, it just lays out the whole conflict, doesn't it? On one side, you have institutional control. Decisions are made for you. Knowledge is guarded. Fear is used to get you to comply, and you're dependent. On the other side is individual empowerment. You make the decisions, knowledge is shared, wisdom builds confidence, and you are responsible for yourself. The critique argues the current system is way over on the left. Dr. Srivatsa, a physician cited all over our sources, puts it this way. He argues the system can actually weaponize the fear of illness itself, turning your natural anxiety into a profit engine through tests, pills, and procedures. Okay, so that's a pretty heavy critique, and it paints a really bleak picture. But the sources don't just leave us there in despair, they actually propose a way forward, a path to reclaim that individual freedom. And that brings us back to Dr. Srivatsa. He's developed a system he calls Dr. Maya, and its entire purpose is to break that cycle of dependency and fear we've been talking about, and to give human agency back to the individual. The name Maya is key, because it literally means illusion. The whole point is to shatter the illusion that you're helpless. The goal is to empower everyone, whether they're literate or not, with simple, accessible knowledge, like color-coded systems instead of confusing jargon. It helps you understand your own body, avoid unnecessary consultations, and become self-reliant. And what's so fascinating is this brings us full circle right back to where we started. This path is framed as a return to Dharma, but not a ruler's duty. It's about Swadharma. That's your personal duty to take responsibility for your own life, your own body, and your own knowledge. So, the sources leave us with this final, powerful question to wrestle with. In this incredibly complex world, with all these massive institutions, who holds the ultimate key to our well-being? Is it them, or is it us? It really makes you think about where we place our trust and where we place our power. Please follow, share, and spread my message. Thank you.